That filter made your skin perfect, your eyes bigger, your jaw sharper. But every time you use it, you're training your brain to hate your real face. Filters started as fun. Now they're default. You see your filtered face more than your real one, and your brain starts to believe this version tasks better. The real you, not enough. You reinforce unrealistic beauty standards, glass skin, tiny nose, perfect symmetry. You could argue that you're playing into the hands of the very industry that's profiting from your insecurities. But no, it's your choice, right? If it makes you feel good, why not? Well, because it's starting to mess with your head. And if you think you're alone, 85% of young women have admitted to using filters, making them the new normal. But the more you use them, the more you lose yourself. Here's how filters are rewiring our brains. Starting with point number 1, you're training your brain to prefer a fake face. We've all seen those before and after pics. The drastic difference between the person and their filtered version. The thing is, when you use a filter, you're getting compliments on a version of you that doesn't exist. You're receiving positive feedback for an altered image, which is then stored in your brain as a memory. So each time you apply that filter, you're adding another layer of validation to a false reality. Your brain starts to associate this fake face with real self-worth. So when you revert back to your non-filtered self, it feels like a downgrade. That's why 23% of women report feeling anxious or stressed when posting a photo without a filter. Essentially, you're creating a gap between your true self and the self that receives online attention. And the more you cross that gap, the more warped your perception of yourself becomes. You may start to dislike your actual face because it doesn't live up to the filtered ideal. Point 2. Filters trigger facial dysmorphia. There's a reason why we call it a filter. It removes things, flaws, imperfections, blemishes. It's almost like putting on a mask, hiding behind a screen. And when you do this consistently, it blurs the line between your real face and your filtered one. You literally forget what you actually look like. A study found that the more people used Snapchat filters, the more they began to prefer their filtered image over their own. Over time, you may start to notice that you can't recognize yourself in the mirror. You question your appearance, wondering why you don't look the same as your filtered self. You may start picking apart your features, fixating on perceived flaws. And this isn't about vanity. It's about losing touch with reality. You're caught in a distorted loop where the more you try to hide, the more you reveal. You want to fit in, but you're making yourself stand out. That's why 69% of teens say that social media makes them more self-conscious. Point 3. Filters create dopamine loops. You post a filtered photo, and the compliments roll in. Oh, you look so beautiful, stunning, gorgeous. Each comment is like a shot of dopamine straight into your brain. It's a feedback loop that tells your brain this version of you is better. And the more you chase that high, the more you withdraw from your real life. You might find yourself spending hours editing photos, tweaking filters to get that perfect shot. And once you do, the rush of validation is so intense that it makes you want to hide your face even more. It's like being trapped in a funhouse mirror. The more you look, the more you're lost. The problem with filters is that they create a false sense of self. You curate an online persona that's often more attractive or successful than your real-life self. And while there's nothing wrong with wanting to look your best or living your best life online, it becomes an issue when you start to believe the hype. When your filtered image becomes your primary identity, you start to neglect your real life. You withdraw from friends and family. You skip events and activities. You just stay home scrolling through your phone because that's where your validation comes from. But the irony is that the more you hide your real self, the more dull your online life becomes. Because here's the thing, your real life is full of color, texture, depth. Your online life is a flat, lifeless copy. You're sacrificing the real for the fake, and in doing so, you're robbing yourself of the richness of life. The thing is, we get it. We all want to look our best, feel validated. But what if there's a better way? What if instead of chasing an illusion, we focus on what makes us uniquely us? You see, the problem with filters isn't just that they distort our faces. It's that they erase our stories. They take away the things that make us human. The wrinkles, the scars, the blemishes, these are the things that tell our story, that give us character. And let's be real, we've all got them. But here's the thing, they don't make us less beautiful. They make us real. You know, there's this trend going around where people are posting their childhood photos and using filters to make themselves look the same age. But here's the thing, you can't filter away time. Time leaves its marks, laugh lines, crow's feet, the graying of hair. These are the things that remind us that we're alive, that we've laughed, we've cried, we've lived. So instead of trying to deny it, why not embrace it? You know, there's this quote by the author Elizabeth Gilbert. She says, "What if instead of trying to change ourselves, we try to accept ourselves? What if instead of looking for the right person, we try to find someone who likes us for who we are?" Here's the deal. Using filters all the time isn't about beauty. It's self-erasure. It's like erasing your history, your struggles, your scars, the things that make you, you. But here's the kicker. Studies show that constant filter use is linked to anxiety, body image issues, depression, and even requests for surgery to match their digital versions. You know, it's funny. We spend hours tweaking our profile pictures, using filters to get the perfect shot, but we forget that our real faces are beautiful too. You know, the imperfections, the blemishes, the scars, they're part of what makes us human. They tell our story. They give us character. You know, it's easy to get lost in the world of filters, to feel like our real faces aren't good enough. But here's the thing. Our worth isn't defined by how many likes we get or how flawless our skin looks in a picture. Our worth is defined by who we are, by our kindness, our intelligence, our resilience, our ability to love and be loved. You know, we get it. We all want to look our best, feel validated. But what if instead of chasing an illusion, we focus on what makes us uniquely us? You know, the things that make us feel insecure about our appearance are often the very things that make us beautiful. The scars that we try to hide tell our story. The blemishes that we try to erase give us character. You know, true beauty comes from within. It's reflected in our actions, our words, our kindness, our compassion. You know, we live in a world that often tells us that we're not enough, that we need to be thinner, prettier, more successful. But here's the thing. We are enough. We are beautiful. We are worthy of love and acceptance just the way we are. You know, using filters all the time isn't about beauty. It's self-erasure. It's like erasing your history, your struggles, your scars, the things that make you, you. But here's the kicker. Studies show that constant filter use is linked to anxiety, body image issues, depression, and even requests for surgery to match their digital versions. So here's what we suggest. Let's start by appreciating our real faces. You know, the ones that have been blessed by the sun and wind, that have laughed and cried and smiled and touched. Let's appreciate the lines and wrinkles that tell our story, that give us character. Let's appreciate the scars that remind us of our strength and resilience. True beauty comes from embracing what makes us uniquely us, not from erasing it. You know, the author Mark Mason said it beautifully. He said, "When we stop comparing ourselves to others and accept ourselves as we are, we can experience a deep sense of peace and contentment." So let's start by accepting ourselves as we are, by embracing our imperfections, by celebrating what makes us us. Let's start by appreciating our real faces, because they are a reflection of our beautiful souls. Drop an emoji if you've ever looked at your real face and felt off after using a filter. If you got value from this video, like, share and follow for more mental clarity in a filtered world. Until next time, thanks for watching.